Sure.
Why? What's the true general reason of why? Why, if I'm happy, why interrupt a happy, comfortable situation? Why?
Well,
he wouldn't like it.
Well, I wouldn't like what?
Well, you wouldn't like if your son hung out with you.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
I
see?
was no.
Me, you'd become my partner. You'd be part of. You know, I have the old traditional way. If I'm a shoemaker, then you're going to be a shoe. If you don't want to be a shoemaker, and I see your talents in music or your talents something, everybody's different.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's different, and maybe my advice doesn't apply to you, but why should you get out of the house? It's the same reason a baby bird needs to be kicked out of the nest, to learn to fly and be independent. And I think while you're living at home, you're sacrificing a great deal of your independence for that comfort.
What do you do for a living?
You know, I work in television, and I'm in music, related in music. And
he's an artist.
Yeah, I'm an artist.
Okay, well that explains a lot.
There you
I'm
go.
truly chasing my dream.
There you go.
Well, I like that. I like that, and by all means, you know, be careful about hooking up with someone, and I certainly wouldn't get married, and I would follow your dream. And of course, my standard advice to everyone is always wear a condom. so you can follow your dream.
Good point.
So let me ask you why. I really haven't had the question answered. I apologize. Why are you guys stuck that way? Why does one have to conform to your thought of kicking them out of the nest? Why? What if things are comfortable? There's a comfort zone.
Yes.
Why? What is the kicking them out and learn on your own?
Let me explain. Let me explain.
Okay.
There are individuals on this planet that have children, and you sound like you come from a traditional,
Yes.
household where that's expected. You're supposed to go out there and do your thing, and Scott is saying, okay, I agree with that. Me personally, if I'm not causing any friction, and that's where it becomes dicey, because usually mothers are the ones that will, we call it mamalong, will create this connection with their children, and the next thing you know, the children are not as savvy to go out there and do their things. It doesn't sound like you're like that, without getting into further detail. It sounds like your situation is with your dad. Am I right?
But actually both. And I do see what you mean by, I guess I'm not as close to my mother. And what I'm trying to understand more is, why do you guys believe that I'm lazy? I have money. I never ask for money.
I don't think
we never
lazy.
said you were lazy.
No,
you brought that up.
Yes.
Right. But but when I hear you guys, I can hear you guys are lazy, and I'm thinking, my uncles, they were hippies, right. and were they lazy? They kind of just relaxed when they were my age, and now they're relatively successful, home purchased and everything.
Right.
I'm just trying to understand that a little bit better.
Well, you just said it. You said the former hippies now own their own home, and you said that was a good thing.
Were they more successful when they were content being hippies, or are they,
Well, it depends on how you measure success. But
right.
I'm just saying generally that you're going to, and believe me, once you get out of the house it's going to be a struggle and it's going to be some more work, but once you get out of the house, become independent and be on your own, you will look back and say, boy, I'm glad I did that. I have
You really believe that? Because then I'm just fighting the grind that every day, and I can't have more things against me with the economy, with the inflation, with the war. How much harder can it be for a single guy who prefers to be single because the marriage rate in California is not to the plus; it's more to the negative.
Nobody told you to get married.
Right. But being out on your own, but being out on your own, it's how easy is it for a single guy with a regular college education to just
these are tough times.
Yeah.
I believe, putting in perspective.
Luis, I'm going to make an observation because, like you said, I'm a tiny bit older than you.
Mm-hmm.
I think within the next 5 years, I'm not even going 10. Within the next 5 years, there are going to be a community of folks because the baby boomers are going to band together. It's going to be almost cost prohibitive to have a real nice home.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do, we're going to pool our resources, and this was called communes. In the old days, you mentioned hippies. I wasn't a hippie. I kind of was much more conservative. I didn't like the idea of not being bathing, but we're not going to go into that.
Right.
Or the drug scene, you know.
Right.
Not that I didn't partake it to a certain level, but it was more or less, I want to participate in the norm, but I don't want to go so far left that I'm not going to be considered serious in whatever I did, business-wise or as my own persona accepted. Because when you let go totally, that's an acceptance, and I couldn't do that. I wanted to be a businessman. But getting back to this situation where you're saying it's getting almost, not impossible, but it really is a struggle to try to maintain yourself. So you say, okay, so why don't we live together, and you're talking about a couple of guys or whatever may be the case. And I see this happening. I see people, builders or architects, creating communities where people could sustain themselves and not have that stress level that the normal, what we're seeing now is happening, where people want the dream, but the American dream is becoming so elusive. And the reality is what we see. You know, there is a disparity between the rich and the middle class that now, for me to go to the store and buy a bag of groceries, I better have more than $50 in my pocket.
Yeah, tell me about it. You can spend $100 in the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know,
Luis, right now there is a war on the middle class.
Yeah.
And
hey, thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a wonderful point.
Yes.
I completely understand and agree with you. And I wish you guys would talk about that more.
Yeah,
There's a separation between the true rich and people, for them to understand what truly rich. I mean, really, there's the rich.
We're talking about the top 1/10% in this country.
And then everybody else, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's only separating. You know, I want to thank you guys. I have to get going. I want to thank you guys for the show. I do encourage people to call more often. I'd like to see what others people's visions or partakes or even, you know, their thoughts on it. You guys are very accessible. I got in through the line. I appreciate whoever answered the phone.
Great call.
I really want to thank you guys a lot.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Have a great day. And
you too. Hey, hedge your bets and start saving some money too.
Yeah.
In case to open your options on the other side.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys.
You,
have
Luis.
a wonderful day.
Thank you.
What a great call.
Fantastic.
Sounds like a great guy.